Oh shit. Well, what we're doing this morning, we're giving the combine a 50-hour service. But why you giving the combine a 50-hour service? Did you just get done with harvest? Y'all didn't really think we were done with harvest, did you? So, Matt, you forget about a field of beans. I know you didn't forget about the corn maze because we saw you got it. So what exactly are you going to harvest today? Well, my friend Jordan, you've heard about him on several of our videos before. You know, we kind of help each other out, and he's got, I don't know, 300-400 acres of beans left up here in Madison County, right down the road from my house. I sure would like to see them get done before Thanksgiving. They probably could get done before Thanksgiving even without me, but I know he just as tired and ready to be done with harvest as I am. So we got a few extra days. We won't carry a combine up here. See if we can help him get some of these beans out. My combine's been running like a champ, you know, our last 400 acres of beans, with the exception, you know, one breakdown, and I don't know of anything wrong with it, so hopefully it won't let me down when we get up here, because I definitely want to be a help to them. I don't want to be a hindrance, but it's just going to be me up here. Got Andy, he's on the 4440, bush hogging around the edge of our fields, going to try and get that done before the next storm system comes in. And we're not going to need Kelly up here on the grain cart, because they got their own grain cart, and Jordan thinks one grain cart keep up both combines pretty good. So we're going to head up here, and I'm about to have some fun, because for today, tomorrow, and till whenever we get done, I ain't working for myself. I'm working for somebody else, and I sure do enjoy whenever I get that opportunity. All right, we just made it over here. I brought my header over here earlier. Like they're already over here, but I ain't quite got started yet. All right, it's about 1:30 now, I think. I think beans finally gotten halfway dried out. These ain't like my beans. We're not going to a bin with these, so they gotta be close to dry. Shit, I better set up a new farming field. Don't want this data going on my farms. Yeah, like I said, these what we're actually cutting today is seed beans. This is going directly for soybean production that people will plant next year. So we're having to modify our settings a little bit, because seed quality is of the utmost importance on these. So we're running our rotor quite a bit slower, and also, you know, the moisture can't be wet, because the place they're getting hauled to is not going to have not going to be able to you know, dry them down. And anyway, we're running in a field right beside CaseIH 8550 combine, and basically it's just like my combine, except it's 3 series newer and 1 size bigger. All the threshing components and everything is the same size, but it's got more horsepower, quite a bit more horsepower than what mine does. All right, so he's already got the first pass cut, so I'm gonna let him cut on that side of the field, and I'm gonna do this side of the field here. If y'all remember back from earlier this year, I actually helped Jordan out on planting beans when we got done, and this is one of the farms I planted, so I'm semi-familiar with it. Even though they got a bigger combine with more horsepower, I'm still going to do my best to run laps around it. Tell you one thing, these sure are some easy cutting beans. Jordan cuts his wheat close to the ground, so there's not that much wheat straw to run through the combine. Plus, the only green you see out there is a little bit of volunteer weed, and mainly winter weed, so we're not cutting off any cover crop and running green material through there. I mean, look, I mean, 6 miles an hour at, you know, 90% engine load, man, we gonna make quick work of these beans. Uh-oh. I see a combine sitting with a service truck over here. I hope nothing is seriously wrong because we was sure making some good time. Yeah, we only been running like 2 hours and we about got this 65-acre farm knocked out. Although I'm not gonna lie, it is a little funny that the 13-year-old 7120 is running and the 2 or 3-year-old 8250 is sitting still. That's the thing about equipment. It don't matter how old it is or how new it is. If it's a piece of machinery, it can and it will break down, and usually at the most inopportune time. I can't laugh at it too much. I've been stopped twice because I went 400 acres on my own beans, did not break a single sickle blade down there, and in the 2 hours I've been running, I done had to replace 2 sickle blades on my cutter bar today so far. But here's the real funny thing. Went to look in this morning. I went to look to make sure I got everything I needed in case I had any breakdowns, like a sickle section come off. And the box of brand new bolts that I just bought, supposed to be up here in my cab, I could not find them anywhere. So anyway, I got out here to the field and asked Jordan if you know, had they had any bolts, because I mean they're running a MacDon header too, and I thought they'd be the same. He's like, actually they changed them from the FD70-75 model that I'm running now to the I think 2175 that he's running. They changed the bolts, so he had one of his guys run up the road John Deere and grab a box of bolts. I was thinking, well, I'm not going to need them, and then here I've needed them twice so far. So thank goodness he was able to go get them for me. Uh-oh, they done moved it from the field that he was in out here. That's not a good sign right there. I guess they just want to get it out of the way so I could go cut that field when I get done with this one. And I hope it ain't too bad, because man, we was rolling. We was rolling good. All right, I just had to stop here for a minute. That's a guy from the seed company that Jordan's growing these seed for. He's getting a sample and going to test them, see what kind of damage we got on the soybeans with the cracked seed coat and everything, because obviously, you know, the more seeds that the combine damages, the lower the germination will be and the lower the product they're trying to sell. So he's checked the sample off my combine and Jordan's combine there to see if we need to make, you know, any kind of you know, adjustments, which I mean there's really not a whole lot more I can do. I'm already running my rotor well below what the recommended speed is for soybeans. You know, what we're really trying to minimize is the mechanical you know, steel on grain damage that that you get, you know, you'll get from any combine out there. Now these axial flow combines, CaseIH, and I guess the rotaries now from John Deere, you know, they're known for not being near as harsh on the seed as what the older conventional style combines are, because it's got multiple passes as the crop works through the rotor to thresh the grain out. Whereas in a conventional style combine with a cylinder, you know, it's got about a 180-degree revolution where the crop goes under the cylinder to actually get that crop to thresh. So we don't have to run near as aggressive settings on these rotary combines as conventional to get the same threshing action. But that being said, you know, if there are issues with the seed coat quality, you know, there's still, you know, minor adjustments we can make on the combine to try and minimize that. But that being said, you know, it's middle of November. These beans have been through quite a bit of weather with rain. You know, they're fragile. You know, hopefully the seed quality is going to be good, but you know, it's not going to be optimum just because of the conditions that they're grown in. And that's kind of the nature of growing seed beans. These are companies that, well, you know, any of the companies that produce seed, you know, they don't want their seed growers, you know, actually planting their soybeans early. You know, they actually prefer their soybeans to be planted, you know, later on in the summer. I just got an update on them. Apparently they choked the draper up. Looks like they got the belt pulled up on it. You know, but a lot of these companies, you know, they require you to spray a fungicide on them. They want them planted late. These seed companies are really not interested in how well they yield for the farmer. They're worried about, you know, making the maximum quality soybean, and that's something that we see every year. Our early beans might yield a lot higher, but the seed quality is not as great because you got some seeds that are good and mature, and then you got some beans that are still green. It's kind of, you're trying to hit a happy medium when you harvest them, whereas your later planted beans, they tend to mature a lot more uniformly throughout the field and make better quality seed. But you know, you lost a lot of your growing season, they're not going to yield as high. That's one reason that these seed companies, you know, most of them, or probably all of them, pay, you know, a premium to go through the hassle of growing seed beans. And I've actually looked at it in the past growing seed beans, but for me, the premium they were offering, at least with the company I looked at, did not justify all the hoops you have to jump through to actually grow the beans. You know, I want to say back when I looked into it several years ago, it was like, I don't know, a 50 or 60 cent per bushel premium, which sounds good, but the thing is, when you're growing seed beans, most of the time you don't actually get to pick your variety. So you plant the variety that they give you, and if it's one that's not one of the better yielding varieties that they've got, you know, you might be getting a 50 to 60 cent per bushel premium, but you're losing bushels per acre. Then not only that, like I said, you're required to spray a fungicide whether they need them or not. You got that expense. You got to plant them late, so you're potentially losing yield. Then you got to clean out your equipment. Just like yesterday, I spent a good part of yesterday flushing the inside of this combine out with water, the throat, the grain bin, all the guts inside, to get any of the seed out that's left over from my variety, so you know, he could get the premium for seed beans on what I'm cutting. Like I said, you know, I looked into it before, and it just did not, you know, the potential payout did not justify all the extra stuff that's going to have to go into it. But Jordan likes it. It seems to work good for him, and that's the difference between different farming operations. So anyway, I'm going to pick up where you left off in this little field. This is all we got over here, and then we'll be moving on to the next farm. And another thing I'm trying to do to, you know, maximize or minimize the damage to the soybean, you know, I was talking earlier, you know, how fast I'm able to run. The faster I'm able to run, the more material I'm able to push into that rotor. You've actually got less steel on grain threshing. You've got a lot more grain on grain threshing, which is going to be a lot more gentle on the seed. So, you know, this ain't, you know, me pushing the combine this hard, this fast. You know, it's not all about trying to get done as quickly as we can and cover as many acres. It's also got a real bearing on, you know, how good the soybean seed quality is going to be. So it's a win-win on both sides. Get done sooner and maximize the quality of seed somebody's going to be planting next year. All right, that was the guy just calling me, and he was showing we got about 6% seed coat damage on this, so he had me lower my rotor from 500 down to 480 and open my concaves up a little bit. So we got this little jag here that we're going to cut with those settings and see if the quality on them improves any. He said it was showing 6% seed coat damage, and he says coming across scales they really like to see it at around 5% damage. Again, like I said, with all the weather these things have gone through, I really don't know if though changing the settings that little bit is really going to make a big difference. But he'll pull another sample here as soon as I get this wrapped up, and we'll find out. Well, say you got the rotor going, maybe they got the they just turned the header on, maybe they just got that combine fixed, and I just got done over here, so we can all get moved over to the same farm here at the same time. All right, so you want to explain to us exactly what you're doing here?
So right now I'm counting out 100 seed, and I'm not counting these little splits or anything, because those will get cleaned out in the cleaning process. But count out 100 whole seed, put them in the bleach for 30 seconds, and then take a percentage of what goes in there. It's actually, I'm gonna do it twice, so it'll be 200 seed. I'll take a percentage of that. Just kind of get try and pick out the stuff that'll get cleaned out.
Well, as long as these beans have been out here with all the weather they've gone through in November, I mean, is there really that much we can do on the combine if they still come in high?
I don't know. I'm gonna try, but there may not be a whole lot you can do at this point.
All right, now that you got 200 out, you put them in bleach and gonna let them sit there for 30 seconds.
Yes,
and
sir. It's a bleach water mixture.
You say the seed coats show up real quickly after that?
They'll start to crinkle up real good, and what I assume is that the bleach speeds up the process of what it would be like if you put it in the ground and it got moisture in the ground, and basically tells us how good that seed coat is and if the machine's damaging it any. See, like right there you can see where it's already starting to crack.
Yeah, that was no good.
But there's also, you'll see on some varieties, they'll get what looks like stretch marks. And we don't count those because it's the way they grow in the field, like right here, I think it's hard to see, but there's a little mark right there. And it can cause it to crack, but that is straight environmentally caused whenever it's growing. It outgrows its seed coat, I believe is what it is. Right there, a little crack going down it.
See, I thought y'all would just be looking for like splits and stuff.
No, sir, because we can clean the splits out. So they'll go through a grate, and that split right there will just fall through it and leave us with the good seed. This is just seeing if the machine's damaging it. Try and do what we can to.
I think that one's damaged.
Yeah. But that one's got some growth checks on it. I may not count that one because they could be caused from those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, so 7% on that one. But I try and do it a couple times just to make sure I can get a bad batch or anything.
Let me try and get one directly off the very top of the pile because I didn't cut many bushels over there.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, I just pulled another sample out of mine. Right now, he's testing the beans out of Jordan's combine, and Jordan's combine has actually got automation on there that it can adjust your forward speed, and it's constantly looking at the parameters, and it can adjust rotor speed and your sieves and everything else. And one of the settings on there is you can set the automation to maximize grain quality. So it's going to be interesting to see if how much less damage Jordan's combine did it running on automation rather than mine does going just off of a fixed setting.
I don't know if these are wetter than the ones you had, or because wetness can control it too. Because you get a really dry bean like 8%, 7%, it'll crack it a lot harder because it'll be more brittle. Yeah. But right there, that's 2.5%.
So you're getting 2.5% damage off Jordan's combine versus 6 and 7% off my combine.
Yeah. Just looking at them, I don't think I missed any, but his look different than yours did too. I mean, you can tell whenever one's a little bit wetter because sometimes they'll be a little dirtier.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll be a little wetter bean, and sometimes a wetter bean will just do a lot better in the combine anyway than a drier bean. But right now, I don't know if it'd be any different from there to there or anything. I don't know.
Well, there you go. I was kind of skeptical on how much the automation was worth it, but I guess when you're cutting seed beans, it does a dang good job. Other than that, there's no physical differences between mine and Jordan's combine, but I can vary the rotor speed myself, but I got to push a button, and I don't have a camera taking pictures of the grain and judging the different parameters and just constantly adjusting it as it's going through the field. All right, he's sorting mine again. Just put them in the bleach. I pulled it off the very tip top of the pile where I knew for sure that was after I changed my settings.
No, I'm gonna call that. See, that's a big growth check right there.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna go with that. That's what caused that. I'm not gonna count that.
So it's better than it was.
It's definitely better. I'll give you that. So that's 4 right there. I mean, you went from 7 to 4. I'd probably take that.
All right, so lowering the rotor speed by 20, 30 RPMs and opening the concave up about 3 millimeters, lowered it from 7% to 4%. Still not as good as automation, but it's good enough for them. All right, I better hurry up. He done got his header dropped off and he's ready to move on. It's been too long talking to the seed quality guy. But I thought it was pretty fascinating. I always kind of wondered, you know, how they do, you know, infield checks of seed quality. And well, there you go. That's how they do it. Well, we got the dust rolling out here this afternoon. We just got moved over to the next farm, and this is another one. I planted about 2/3 of this farm for him before I ran out of seed that night. So I get a little bit of comparison of 19-inch row beans versus 15-inch row beans, because they finished up, you know, where I wasn't able to plant. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to cut today. You know, we're dealing with a completely different situation than where, you know, than what we were on our beans. For one thing, they're not going to drain beds, they're going to the granary. I don't really know what time they close, which I think they close at 5 o'clock, so it's getting close to 5 now, so I don't know, maybe we'll shut down when we get all the trucks filled up. I don't really know, I don't know how many trucks. I know he's got 3 trucks total. I don't know how many we filled up at the last farm, or where they're at on the list or whatever. So I reckon once they stop and sit the beans today, at the most we can do is get trucks and crank filled up. Of course, you know, the way beans yield this year, you know, that's still running a while long today. So I don't know. I'm not the one making decisions. I'm out here working. I'm having a big old time. You know, I love the actual practice of farming. I love operating equipment. You know, I love farming. What I don't love is actually owning and running a business, and then, you know, having to be in charge of taking all the final decisions day in, day out, you know, trying to shuffle things around to make sure everything's going to operate efficiently, you know, having efficiency. You know, I'm good at that part of it, but I don't necessarily enjoy that part of it. So just being able to be out here, run on equipment, and not having to make all those decisions. I mean, this is like a vacation for me. You know, most people wouldn't consider, you know, doing their job as being a vacation, but when you remove the business side of it and just do the farming part of it, I mean, to me, this is just any vacation. I've had a big old time here. The only way it would be any better whatsoever was if I was running somebody else's equipment, because I'm still responsible for children. Because I'm still responsible for my own machine. You know, if my combine tears up, well, yeah, I got to fix it. So the only way it could be more enjoyable was if, you know, I was running somebody else's combine. I got faith in the old gal. She ain't gonna let me down. She's gonna shine. And I gotta say, you know, going up against the newer, bigger combine, you know, I'm not running laps around it, but I don't think I'm out here getting embarrassed then. Old 7120's holding its own. Of course, in reality, it's not really a 7120. If anything, it's closer to an 8120 than 7120, because I got it chipped back there. Get how much horsepower boosting's at, but it's getting up there close to an 8120, which would be comparable to an 8240. You know, our rotor size is the same. His cleaning area is wider than what mine is, but you know, internally that's really about the only differences between the two combines. And we're not in any kind of high flow pipe that's really taxing the cleaning area, so that's really not going to be an advantage. Uh-oh, looks like we might have a game of chicken going on here. That's the problem with me being in these fields. I really don't know how they lie and the most efficient way to cut them. All right, looks like he's going to turn around. Go back the other way. I'll do the same when I get down here to the corner. That lighting package on that combine sure a lot more impressive than what mine is, because I got aftermarket LEDs on mine, but I still got a few halogens on here. Whereas I think that one is probably all HID or all LED. Well, talking with the man that was grading the beans, he told me these beans right here are a Bayer product. and most likely going to a variety shipped out west, probably going to be in the Channel or Chanel, however you say that, going to be in that lineup. Now I don't know what number they are. I think they're 4.7 maturity roundabouts, but apparently it's going for seed production there for a variety that's going to be placed out west. Now why they're growing seed for something that's going out west here in the Mid-South, I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but hope y'all enjoyed that little insight into how they're grading beans out in the field. He invited me to come down there to their seed cleaning plant and you know, tour it and, you know, video it. Of course, I've made a video on how a seed cleaner works, where we get our wheat cleaned, but you know, it's a very old facility, whereas the place these beans are going to is a lot more modern. So if y'all be interested in seeing a video of the seed cleaning process on soybeans, you know, a more modern facility, let me know. I might try to get a visit lined up down there and actually make a video of it if I got enough interest in a video like that. I don't know if I mentioned it back when I was planting the beans on this farm, but this part of the farm we actually used to work when I was a kid, and it was my favorite farm. I don't remember why, but it was. Anyway, I don't know. I just got a lot of good memories riding with my dad, you know, on a 4.0 cultivator or the tractor mounted spray booms or whatever on this farm right here. And this farm right here is where I got to do my first disking and everything. You know, back then we were all conventional till and everything, and I remember being out here in the spring in March running a disc. I was on an old open station 7600 Ford tractor pulling a 15-foot birch disc, and I actually cultivated my first cotton on this farm, and I just got a lot of fond memories. And I remember this part of the farm, I mean, there was terraces and silt bases going everywhere. Of course, we contour formed it then because we were you know, plowing up the ground, and we had to follow the terraces, otherwise it all washed off and everything. And I just remember the roads always kind of laid real weird back here, and I don't know, just there's some things about your childhood you remember, and when you're able to kind of go back and revisit some of those things from your childhood, it really puts a smile on your face. And being over here on this farm it's one of those things. I don't have as fond of memories about some of the other farms that we no longer work, but this one's definitely one of them. All right, we just got done with this half of the farm. There's a creek right here, and we got the right hand side. All that white spot's what the 8250 done. I don't know if they're gonna keep on running or we're gonna shut down. I got no radio to communicate with them. But anyway, we might keep on running a little while longer, or we might park them, I don't know. But I'll see y'all back out here in the morning. We still got a lot of acres to get over. All right, I reckon we're just gonna keep on going. I'm just playing follow the leader, cause trying to cut unknown fields at dark, not a recipe for success. So I'm just following the guy that's been farming this for a while. Well, we just got the grain buggy completely filled up. I think all the trucks are filled up, and I think he's just trying to get this little corner finished up, and I think we're finally gonna call it a day now. It's just a little after 7, and beans, wind died down a while back. Beans definitely gotten tough. My losses were going up significantly there on the last couple rounds, and with these being seed beans, I can't make any adjustments to improve the threshing because then I risk damaging the beans. You know, normally beans get tough like that, I'd close the concave up, speed the rotor up and stuff, but do that, I really run the risk of damaging the beans, so it's a good time to shut off. It's showing me as having done 77 acres today, so I know that 8250 probably did at least another 77, so you know, over 150 acres done, and I mean, heck, we didn't get started till like 1 o'clock calls of due and everything. So 150 plus acres between 2 combines, having to change farms, and a little over 6 hours. We rolling. Well, hopefully that wind will be with us again tomorrow morning, get these beans on, dried on down, so we can make another big dent in them.